Hi, I'm John. Welcome to C3 Kids Church Online. I'm coming to you from Community Christian Church in White Marsh, Maryland, where we are all about helping people find their way back to God. C3 Kids Online is a place for kindergartners through third graders to learn all about Jesus and how much He loves us. Hey, I got to tell you guys, I am so glad that you're back for another sweet day at C3 Kids. No, seriously, I am just bursting with excitement today. I promised I'm not playing any Twix on you guys because we are going to have a real jolly good time. Aha, I cracked myself up. But seriously, as I've already told you this month, I love every different kind of candy. And I love different kinds of candy for different reasons. Think about it. Some are fruity, some are chocolatey, and some are crispy crunchy. But they are all delicious. You know, all this talk about candy makes me want to play another candy game. How about you? You ready for it? Okay, so today's game will test your knowledge of various candies that are out there in the world. I'm going to give you 3 clues and you're going to guess what candy I'm describing. Sound good? All right, let's start with this one. Number 1. This candy is very colorful. It's made up of tiny, crunchy, small candies that are all kind of stuck together, and it's long and twisty like a snake. What do you think it is? Shout it out. Did you guess a NIrV? Hopefully you did. One of my favorite candies. All right, number 2. Here are your clues. This candy is hard on the outside and soft on the inside. When you're done eating this candy, you can blow bubbles with it. This candy has a small white stick attached to it. It's kind of easy. Did you get this one? Did you get this one? Okay. It's a blow pop, and luckily this one is great. My favorite flavor. Hopefully you got 2 out of 2. All right, this is our third candy. Ready? This candy comes in lots of colors. It's full of chocolate in the middle and has the letter M printed on the outside shell. Do you know what this one is? Shout it out. Of course, this is M&M's. All right. Wow. That's pretty incredible that we literally had 3 different types of candy out here, right? Life would be pretty boring if all the candy, and all the people for that matter, were exactly the same, right? We'll hear more about that later in our Bible story, but right now we're going to sing our worship song. So get on your feet, let's sing and dance to this week's song, Gloriously Free. I love it when we come to C3 Kids Online and find out how we live God's way every day. And this month, we're learning all about the life app of individuality. Remember, we're defining individuality as discovering who you are meant to be so you can make a difference. I'm so glad that God made us with individuality. Earlier, we saw that we had 3 different types of candy and each one was uniquely different and delicious. Well, guess what? God has made each and every one of us uniquely different. There's only one you, and you are created in God's image. With God's help, you can make the most of all those unique things and make a special and unique difference for everybody in the world. You can use these unique gifts to help other people. Today, we're going to hear a Bible verse about a woman who was very talented and how God used her to make a big difference in her world. Let's go listen.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Acts, chapter 16, verses 13 through 15.
Lydia of Thyatira was a remarkable woman. Her city was known for its craftsmen, especially those who made and sold expensive purple dye.
Take a look. I use only the finest snail shells.
Though most successful people in business were men, Lydia learned the craft of purple dye. And when she traveled to the Roman city of Philippi, she set up a business selling rare, expensive purple cloth.
Please note, we have lilac, plum, iris, lavender, and grape fabric laid out. And over here you'll find amethyst, eggplant, and orchid.
Lydia had likely been raised to believe in many false gods, but in her heart, she knew there was something more.
The Jewish people believe in just one God. What if they're right?
The city of Philippi had laws against bringing any unknown religion into the city. But Lydia would meet outside the city gates on the riverbank with a group of women who believed in the one true God.
Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Love Him with all your strength.
Lydia and the other women had never heard of Jesus. But as they began to seek God together, God sent a vision to someone else, the Apostle Paul, who was staying in the Greek city of Troas.
Dream. It was so vivid. I saw a man standing right here begging me. He said, "Come over to Macedonia. Help us."
Immediately, Paul and his friends set sail. Within a few days, they reached land and traveled to Philippi, one of the most important cities in Macedonia.
So we just start by finding a synagogue of Jewish believers, right?
I don't think there is a synagogue here.
On the Sabbath, a day of worship, Paul and his friends went down to the river, hoping to find a place of prayer.
Shall we gather at the river?
Excuse me.
Hi there. Do you wish to join us? We're praying to the one true God.
Absolutely.
There, by the river, Paul told the story of Jesus and how anyone who chose to follow Jesus could have a relationship with God that lasts forever.
But this is amazing. This changes everything.
The Lord opened Lydia's heart to believe every word of Paul's message.
I wish to be baptized. At once.
Not only was Lydia baptized, but she immediately shared the good news with her family and everyone who lived and worked in her home. And they too were baptized. Lydia gathered Paul and his friends.
Do you consider me a believer in the Lord? If you do, come and stay at my house.
We would be honored.
As a successful businesswoman, Lydia's house was likely large and beautiful.
We must meet here from now on.
Lydia did not hesitate to give everything she had to the believers in the brand new church. And when Paul and Silas were later thrown in prison and then released, they immediately returned to Lydia's home to rest and prepare before they left the city.
You must be brave.
Of course we will. Don't forget to write.
Later, Paul did write a letter to Lydia and others in the church of Philippi, and he remembered his time spent in Lydia's home and the church there with great joy.
I thank my God every time I remember you. In all my prayers for all of you, I always pray with joy. I'm happy because you have joined me in spreading the good news. God began a good work in you, and I am sure that he will carry it on until it is completed.
In everything she did, Lydia continued to use her gifts to help others.
Wasn't it amazing to hear what happened when Lydia met Paul? I love the way God opened Lydia's heart to believe in Jesus. And it was so cool how Lydia was quick to offer her home to Paul and his friends. It makes sense that Lydia would want to put others first because that's the way Jesus lived his life every single day. When Jesus was on earth, he was constantly teaching people, healing people, and loving people. He was always helping others. And remember, that's something each of us can do. That brings us to this week's bottom line. Use your gifts to help others. If I needed help, I know I would want my friends and the people around me to be willing to use their gifts to give me a hand. We all need each other. So I want to use my gifts to help people around me. That's a great way that I can treat others the way God has treated me. If you feel like you don't know what those gifts are, don't worry. Just think of something around you that's good or something that you do really well. Think always about how kind you are and how generous you can be to your friends. God created each of us individually and gave us uniquely different gifts to help other people. We know that it can be hard to do that sometimes, so talk about it with your family this week. We can even send some resources that are linked here in the video. All right, you gifted, talented, wonderful, loving people, it's time for us to go. But make sure you come back next week and continue to learn about individuality. See ya. Bye-bye.